This is Shelley Craft coming to you live on SNN.Live. We're coming to you from the Planet MicroCap Showcase 2019 right here in Las Vegas. I have with me today Bernie Hertel from Emerald Health Therapeutics. It's a publicly traded company. I'm going to give you two symbols, EMH, and in the US, EMHTF. That's EMH in Canada, EMHTF in the US. Bernie, welcome to SNN.Live.
Shelley, it's always great to see you. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you. Now let's get started with an overview of the company and we'll go from there.
Sounds good. Emerald Health Therapeutics is a licensed producer of cannabis in Canada, based in Vancouver, with sales and operations focused on both the medical marketplace that existed before as well as the new recreational marketplace, allowing the legal use of cannabis as of October 2018 in Canada.
So give me a little history on the company, if you would.
So the company, going back a number of years, was one of the earlier licensed producers under the previous medical system. A company called Emerald Health Sciences, which is being run by Dr. Avtar Dhillon, recognized the opportunity in the cannabis space and took control of that company a few years ago. I don't have the precise date on the top of my head. And started to apply different strategies and bring resources to the table to help it to grow, which has been going very well.
What's unique about the company?
So one of the things that's very unique about our company is the people around it, both within and on the board of directors, advisory board, and so on. I say that we look at the cannabis plant through a life sciences lens. So we have people who are conventional medical doctors, our naturopathic doctors. We have people from big pharma, from biotech, and from the natural health products world. So we're looking to apply the knowledge, the processes, the tools of the life sciences industry to this plant. And there's a tremendous opportunity to unveil and harness and advance the potential of this plant for wellness and medicinal benefits.
What's the competitive advantage that Emerald has in the market?
I think the advantage lies a lot with that knowledge and then how you apply that to not just grow cannabis, but then to create differentiated products. How do you innovate? You know, we have the knowledge of how to run human studies, of how to create products and intellectual property. But that being said, we have one of the most experienced growers in Canada. He's been at this a long time, understands the genetics and the nuances of growing a plant. It's a bit ironic that you have something called weed, which does in fact grow like a weed in many places, but when you're trying to grow it in large scale or in a controlled environment and apply a set of conditions to it, it can be very finicky. And so we have that kind of expertise. But we also, we like to embrace infrastructure and expertise that's already out there and leverage that. And we did a deal with a company called Village Farms, which is one of the largest greenhouse growers of vegetables in North America. We did that deal in June 2 years ago to move forward on a very large project, which was to take a 1.1 million square foot greenhouse and convert that into growing cannabis. And today that facility is fully licensed, it's fully planted, and will be in full production this summer.
Bernie, what's your target markets?
So today there's a fantastic opportunity, a big opportunity to serve customers who wish to buy and use cannabis for whatever purposes, recreational or for medicinal benefits, that they can buy legitimately from the provincial governments across Canada. And we see this conversion from the illegal marketplace to legal. It's a big opportunity. There's still more demand than supply. All the new companies are coming up with their production. So we're happily serving that marketplace. At the same time, we're creating oils and then more value-added products where we can then give consumers, we talk about giving consumers the ability to consume with confidence. We want to be able to have products that are very well characterized in terms of the constituents, the different types of what are called cannabinoids that are in the plant. THC is a cannabinoid, CBD is a cannabinoid. We want to be able to have products that always have predictability as far as the proportion of that. They always have the same high standard of quality, and the dosage is the same. So ultimately we'll have, for example, soft gels, and then other innovations beyond that. And so we will definitely be trying to serve people that are looking for medicinal and wellness benefits. I actually joke, I've got to tell you this, I joke that if I get 5 people in a circle, I guarantee that you'll have at least one person talking about a first-hand story of using cannabis, particularly for a health and wellness benefit. It's amazing, people of our generation that are really keen about exploring these opportunities and trying them and are having results. I'm not saying that one anecdote is what you should go by in terms of looking at these opportunities, but when you hear anecdotes repeatedly, it does mean something, but there's an opportunity and a necessity to now start to characterize that with human studies, which can really only be enabled by having a legal environment, and that's what's going to unfold, and we will be part of that.
What's your background?
My background, I did a business degree. I've spent most of my adult life working for companies with zero revenues. I've always had a heart for, an enthusiasm for companies that are entrepreneurial in nature, that are startups, are trying to build something. And I've worked in biotech for a long period of time. As you know, I worked with a company doing some very clever work in the world of immunotherapies. I've been in tech and worked with all kinds of ventures. So being in this sector now is also very exciting because there's companies that are well beyond startup phase, obviously, but it's still a very young industry with a tremendous journey ahead of it in terms of the products that can be developed, the knowledge that's advanced, and how the product ends up being used. When you have a company like GW Pharma that is able to show the utility of cannabis, the benefit of cannabis for children as young as 2 years old, prove it, get FDA approval, and then have the Drug Enforcement Agency actually reschedule it so it's not considered to be heroin, and to be able to then have that be commercialized, that's a pretty amazing accomplishment. They did a great service for the children, for the people with those diseases, and did a great service for the industry to help validate that there is legitimate opportunity here.
Now, as a public company, only tell me what you can, but what are some growth drivers?
So the key growth drivers are in particular going to be just our growth in production and sales during the course of 2019. We are at an inflection point right now. We just reported this morning our revenues are still low relative to the big guys. We started a little bit later in terms of really putting resources on the table and applying them to the building of these companies. So we had pretty flat revenue during the course of last year. Revenue tripled in the fourth quarter. We provided some guidance this morning that we had revenue in the first quarter of about 2.6 million. So we're starting to ramp up, and we expect to see that growth significantly, particularly with this one operation that we have, which is the 50% owned joint venture. It's called Pure Sun Farms. They can produce 75,000 kilograms of cannabis when they're in full production, and they're going to hit that point middle of the year. So it won't be 75,000 kilograms this year, but the quality and the yield of the product is going well. And we're talking about ultimately hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue generation from the joint venture. We have 50% exposure to the economic value of that. Plus we're actually taking 40% right now of the production, and then from 2020 onward, it will be 25%. And that's going to be coming out of a facility that's going to be doubled up because they've just exercised an option on a second greenhouse, which is a second 1.1 million square feet. This will be basically the single largest complex in Canada.
Let's get your website out there for our audience.
Our website is emeraldhealth.ca.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bernie Hertel, Emerald Health Therapeutics. It's EMH in Canada and EMHTF in the US. I'm Shelley Kraft, this is SNN.Live, and we're coming to you live from the Planet MicroCap Showcase 2019 here in Las Vegas. Bernie, thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Shelley.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.